There are a number of ways to modify an irrevocable trust, and in a prior video I talked about a few different of those methods. In this video I want to focus on trust decanting. What is trust decanting, and when does our law firm use trust decanting? So the scenario is, typically we have a parent or a grandparent who had a revocable living trust. That person passed away, and so that revocable trust then became irrevocable, and they left money to maybe more than one person, but one beneficiary in particular is disabled, or they're now elderly and they need to help qualifying for government benefits such as Medicaid to help pay for home care, ALF care, nursing home care, valuable medical procedures, all those sorts of things. Well, depending on how the trust was written, some of these trusts are not thinking about what happens if one of the beneficiaries is disabled, or the trustee has too much discretion, or they're instructed to use the trust to pay for the health and maintenance and welfare of all the beneficiaries. Well, if the discretion is too broad, if the discretion gives the trustee the ability to pay for health expenses, doesn't have the right supplemental needs trust languages, then the unintended impact is now this trust is going to cause someone who is disabled or elderly who needs government benefits to become ineligible. And so Florida statutes provides there's a number of different remedies, but one of the particular remedies that we like to use more frequently in this scenario is what's called trust decanting for the benefit of a disabled individual, because Florida statutes says in black and white, if the beneficiary is disabled and the trustee has broad or absolute discretion to utilize funds for that individual's benefit, then by law, the trustee has the ability to decant, in other words, take the assets out of the trust that is causing a problem and pour it into an irrevocable special needs trust, a third-party special needs trust for the benefit of a disabled beneficiary. And so we now take what might be a significant amount of assets that were causing an eligibility problem and transferring it without having a judge involved, being able to use the statute on its face to put assets into a trust where now those assets will not count against a disabled individual who needs needs-based government benefits such as Medicaid waiver or Medicaid ICP. And because the trust originates from another source, typically a parent or a grandparent, the new trust does not need to contain a Medicaid estate recovery or a Medicaid payback obligation. So in essence, we have to have our cake and eat it too. So this is one way in which we have an irrevocable trust that is causing a problem for one of our elderly or disabled beneficiaries. We can use the decanting process because Florida law is quite favorable in allowing a decanting. This only requires the action of the trustee, although that the trustee will have to give a 60-day notification, mail a letter, typically certified, to all qualified beneficiaries. In another video, I'll talk about what are qualified beneficiaries, because it's more than the initial beneficiaries who are listed in the trust. But suffice it to say, it gives us a really nice mechanism to significantly protect the assets for some of our clients who would really benefit from help paying for care at home or in a facility without having to deplete all of their assets or use all of the assets in this other trust. So if you're interested in learning more about how to utilize trust decanting to benefit a disabled individual or an elderly individual who would benefit from Medicaid to help pay for care at home or in a facility, if you're anywhere in the state of Florida, schedule a consultation. Thanks for watching.